Okay, I just am taking a break from door knocking right now. I am hearing one thing come up over and over and over again on the doors in my community, and it's this. Why is Justin Trudeau calling an election? Why is there an election right now? Like door after door after door, I'm getting asked, why is there a federal election? And my response is, well, Justin Trudeau hasn't given an answer to that. Do you remember last week a lot of media were saying like, oh, well, an early election call, it's not going to be an issue. But people are really cheesed about this. I bet you're cheesed about it. I mean, last weekend when Justin Trudeau called the election in Calgary here, we had the smoke. It was like Armageddon from the BC wildfires. British Columbia is burning. Then, of course, all week I've been bringing to you the issue of my constituents calling me with family members stranded in Afghanistan. Justin Trudeau knew Afghanistan was an issue, and then he still called the election anyways without any details on this resettlement program that he announced. And of course, media is still raising and medical experts are raising concerns about what happens with the Delta variant. So people are going to me, why is Justin Trudeau calling an election right now? And the answer is, I don't know. But I have a suspicion. Justin Trudeau doesn't want to go back to Parliament this September with a minority government. And why? It's because he's got a lot of unanswered questions that we are going to hold him to account for. Things like the We Charity scandal. Remember that sample of Ebola that was somehow taken to China that he's now suing, Justin Trudeau's government was suing the Speaker of the House of Commons over? Documents that Parliament had requested that he refused to release. There's a lot of questions unanswered about Justin Trudeau, but there's one thing that's for sure. The other thing that's coming up on my doors over and over again is like, well, if we're going to have an election, Justin Trudeau, you need to talk about the rising cost of living. Everything costs more. I just madly ran to the grocery store in between door knocking here, and it's like, a bag of bread the cost of that has increased. Everything has increased. Like rent, I'm hearing it on my doors in the community. Why is everything costing so much? In fact, I just ran into somebody who had just gone to the grocery store and had 2 bags of groceries in her, and she's like, yeah, I asked her, do you have any questions for me? And she's like, yeah, why does this cost so much? And the answer is this. The Liberal government has spent so much, like they've spent so much money on stuff that we don't really see the benefit of. Like, I guess there's the We Charity scandal, so I guess, there's some question about Liberal friends there, but that there's a direct tie to inflation, right? And you remember earlier this week, Justin Trudeau, and he was asked about a very nuanced question about the mandate of the Bank of Canada. He goes, well, I don't think about monetary policy. This glib, flippant answer. And if you want to watch a previous video in my feed, I really talked about that link between the Bank of Canada having to print money to match the economic policy of Justin Trudeau's massive out of control spending to the rising cost of everything, or inflation, right? So now that we're in an election, look, he called it. So we're presenting a plan as Conservatives. And you know what we're thinking about? We're thinking about the cost of this, right? The cost of renting an apartment, making things more affordable. And I encourage you to go and read that plan. It's Conservative.ca /plan. And I'll put the link in this video. We have a plan to address the housing shortage in Canada, to make sure that we are thinking about what happens in monetary policy, that we're thinking about how our economic policy as a government is putting in place conditions to lower the cost of living, to make life more affordable for you. And you know what? After nearly 6 years of Justin Trudeau, the scandals, the mistreatment of women in his caucus, the lack of attention to sexual harassment allegations in the military, to Canada's diminished place in the world, but of course, to a rising cost of living for all of you, we've got a plan, and I think just a really positive vision that is going to make Canada's life better. So Justin Trudeau, I think he can't answer the question, why did I call an election? Because he can't give you the truth, which is, I want a majority government so I don't have to deal with people like Rempel in the House of Commons in a minority situation, right? So look, if a Liberal comes to your door, now ask them that. Why did Justin Trudeau call an election? They're going to falter. They're not going to have an answer for you. They're not going to have a good answer for you. But we have a plan. It's the Conservative Party of Canada, and I encourage you to read it. A full platform we released this week, the whole thing. It's very comprehensive, and it's getting good reviews from people like you at the door. So have a read, look at this plan, and next time you go to the grocery store, ask yourself, why did Justin Trudeau call an election? Working hard for you in Calgary, Conservative.ca /plan. Share this video. Have a great day.